Hey, y'all. We are back again. Now, we're doing a little something different today and from now on, I guess. And if you notice, there was a little bit of a name change in the title. And that's actually because a friend of mine was like, what would be so cool is that you say this every single week anyway. So why don't you just name the podcast that? Because this is what you're doing. You're helping me have a little less chaos in my life. So, still working on the new intro, but here we go. Let's go. So, welcome to a little less chaos with SonjaW. I am back to assist you with just starting off your week with just a little less chaos. So as usual, we're gonna knock out the few things that help me make sure that my week starts off well, and hopefully will help you start your week off well. We're gonna have our good thing. We're gonna talk about the good things that happened in the week before, because when we remember just how good it was last week, we know that we can do even better in this new week, right? Then we're gonna break down a couple of things that we have to get done on our dockets. What do we have to do this week to make sure that we actually have a week? That we actually do stuff, right? Because the whole point to being intentional, the whole point to seeing a little less chaos in our lives is that we're actually paying attention to our schedule, that we're actually paying attention to the fact that, yes, there are 24 hours in a day. Yes, we have things that need to get done, but if we plan, we would get them done without stressing ourselves out to the hilt. Okay. Then we're going to break down the intentional topic of the week. This is just me kind of knocking down, talking about a little something that will help you with getting a little less chaos happening in your week and in your life, honestly, because an intentional life is a life that has systems, that has plans, that has ways of life, routines, goals, that you have your relationships together and in alignment with one, your desires in life, and also with God, right? So there's so much that I love to talk about, and things that I'm working through. Okay, because child, even though I'm all about intentional living, I'm not always perfect. Okay, so I got stuff that I got to be doing too. So we're going to do that. And then we're going to end off everything with a little bit of prayer, because we know that prayer truly transforms. Prayer opens doors. Prayer transforms our hearts so that we can hear the will of God and be able to execute this life that He has called us to. He said that He has good and perfect things for us. He says that He has good plans for us to prosper us and not to harm us. And we have the ability to make sure that we're living a life with enough margin to actually see all of that happen. Okay, so let us and then this week, the intentional topic is ending with the start in mind. Now, I know you caught that. That's a little bit different than what we typically hear, right? What is it? Start with the end in mind. I want to go backwards. I want us to end with the start in mind. And we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Okay, so let's get into it. Mm, mm, mm. So, first things first, the good things. Oh my gosh. So, one great thing that happened this past weekend or this past week was that I got to host my leaders. So, at my church, I am the director of a department, and I have several leaders that are under that department, and I had a chance to bring them all together and to just have a reset in our own personal lives, and then also have a reset on how we do things in our department. Okay. And so, one of the things that I really got to share with them was just something that the Lord laid on my heart. And it was just really, really good. I'm actually going to talk about that next week, because I was thinking the Lord was like, tell the people to, because they need it. And so I'll talk about that in the next podcast next week. We're going to talk about how there's more that God can do, and it's going to be starting in Q4. Like, I truly believe that. I truly believe that there's so much more that can happen, but we got to actually do some things. We got to actually move. We actually have to believe, walk in faith that these things can happen, right? So I'll talk about that next week. But my good thing is having that space where I can be with these leaders and just see their lives transformed. I just find it so important that we're always thinking about others next steps, others growth, and that is a major part of my life. I mean, that's why I coach, that's why I do this podcast, because I want to see you grow, right? So anyway, I had a great time with my leaders this past weekend, and I'm really excited about what God's going to do through them. It's going to be amazing. But we had a chance to just do kind of like a mini reset. I talk about resetting every quarter, talk about that monthly review at the end of the month, and this is just a quick little mini run through of your goals and how you're gonna structure yourself for the next quarter. So it was really, really good. I enjoyed myself. It was amazing. What else good? Oh, I went to one of my favorite places. It's this restaurant in Colombia. Love it. Okay. They have these like lobster fingers. So, you know, like chicken fingers. No, they got lobster fingers. And y'all, they so good. And then they have Brussels sprouts that I love. So I got to go there Friday, and that was really, really good. Matter of fact, it was very good because let me tell you, last week, work week, was intense. All right. So I needed that reprieve. I needed that time at the restaurant and also that leader's reset. So that was my good things. Now, if you're online, I would love to know, well, what were your good things? Tell me what happened this past week that now you're able to run forward into this new week, right? What good thing happened? Did you get some sleep? Did you buy a new pair of shoes? What did you do? What good thing happened last week? I would love to know in the comments. If you're catching the replay on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get it, go ahead and tell me in the comments what good thing happened for you. All right. Now, let's get to the next part of our reset, right? We talk about the good things, and now we're about to get to what's on the docket for this week. The whole point to this is to make sure that we're looking at our calendar and seeing how we need to rearrange what our ideal or our dream week is to make sure that we can get everything done, right? I talk about the dream week. You can get that. We actually talked about that a few weeks ago. So catch on one of the older podcasts to catch about what a dream week is. But now on what's the docket, it's time to look at your calendar and actually see, okay, I know I got this doctor's appointment now. What do I need to rearrange to make that happen, right? So make sure that you're taking some time to look at your calendar, make the adjustments that you need to make to be able to go forward for this week. So for me, I actually do have a doctor's appointment. And then one of the things that's making me mad about it, okay, let me vent a little bit, okay? I like to have my doctor's appointments early. Like the earlier the better. What time y'all open? That's when I want my appointment, right? Well, my doctor changed her schedule, and now my appointment's at 10:30 a.m. I'm so upset. So I gotta like rearrange my whole work day to make that thing happen. But it is what it is. People are people. Doctors are people too, and they are able to set their own schedules, and it is fine. I just gotta rearrange my life now. Then I got some writing to do, y'all. So I don't know what it is. I think it's probably some of my own fears, my own issues, whatever. But I got writing to do that I have been pushing off. Okay. Yes, the intentional living woman is pushing things off, is procrastinating. I know. I know. I do it too, y'all. But the great thing about this is that when you do a regular review, you can catch yourself quicker, right? Sometimes we have great goals, great desires, and all these different things, but we're not regularly reviewing our life, and we have no idea that we've drifted, right? So that's the whole point to this idea of reviewing at least weekly. Perhaps, well, I won't even say at least. You should have some type of review every single day, but that's besides the point. We talking about weekly. And the fact that I'm able to see that I've been procrastinating. I know that I can go ahead and make some changes in my own schedule and in my own mindset to be able to get that done, right? So that's what I got to do on the docket. And then finally, I'm in like this business training for the last few weeks, and I'm a little bit behind on homework because it was a crazy, like I said, it was a crazy week last week. Okay, work was crazy, but God, He got me through it. So I got to do some of this business homework. Then also I have several things due at work that I gotta make sure I stay on top of during this week. So I got a full week, but I'm gonna take some time after this podcast to make sure that I got it all arranged in a way that makes sense. I'm hoping that you're taking some time as I'm talking. I'm stalling so that you actually look at your calendar. Are you looking at your calendar? Are you looking? Anyway, make sure that you're checking out your calendar and taking this time seriously. Okay. Now let's get into the intentional topic. Now, you notice I changed the name of the podcast, right? I'm wondering if I need to change this section. It's still an intentional topic, but it is also going to help you have a little less chaos in your life. So I don't know what I want to do, but we probably going to keep it as an intentional topic for now. And today we're going to talk about ending with the start in mind. It is a play on words, but it is the truth. How you end one day is important for your next start, right? Because until the day we die, we're going to be starting again and again and again. And how you end one season is really key in how you start off another. Now, it may not have any issue, it may not have any lasting effects because truly how you start and how you end can be different. You can always change, right? But how you end does impact how you start, particularly in your everyday life. And it was so interesting. I learned years ago that there in some Jewish tradition that they actually start their days with the evening. Like the start of a new day actually starts the evening before. Now, I was reading up on this more because I remember hearing it, but then I had to go research because I'm like, you can't just trust everything you hear, right? And what I gathered, now I didn't do deep research, but I did look. And what I gathered is that a lot of the holidays do start in the evening. Like the day of the holiday starts the day before, right? The evening before, at sunset before. And also how they interpreted the Torah back in the day is that the actual day, your day, starts in the evenings and goes through to the next evening, right? So when I learned that, it kind of intrigued me because it was just sitting there. I was sitting there thinking, like, well, what if I did my life like that? What if I paid attention? What if I thought that if my day starts in the evening, I got to be intentional with my evening. I have to be, you have your morning routines and stuff like that, but actually taking a moment and stepping back and saying, wait a minute, my day starts in how I end the day before, then I need to be a little bit more intentional with how I start my days, right? So I was just thinking about that. What if we prepped the night before? What if we took time to actually think about how we rest, how we wind down in the evening? How much better would it be in the morning when you wake up? I truly notice when I take my evening routine seriously, how much better I feel in the morning, right? Um, and I actually really worked on this really hard. Now, granted, my struggle, and it's still a struggle, is actually going to bed on time. Okay. Now I wake up super early, so on time is bad early. Like on time, going to bed to have a good night's sleep is like 8:30, which is wild for me. So I still struggle with that, full transparency. But what I realize is that when I actually do follow that bedtime routine, I feel amazing in the morning. Okay. So what if you took the time and started your day in the evening before? What would happen? What if you actually prepped and actually thought about, well, how am I sleeping? What is it that I need to do to prepare myself for the next day to truly get what I need? Okay, so let me give you three quick things on how that if we're going to take our sleep seriously, if we're going to take this whole idea of ending with the start in mind, ending our day with the start in mind, here are three couple of things that I think you can do and things that I've done to help myself do exactly that. Okay. So, number one, watch what you ingest close to bed. Watch what you ingest mentally and physically close to bed. Now, I used to love me some true crime. I used to watch all of the shows. What was it? The Blacklist, Criminal Minds, SVU, all of those things. And I used to watch them in the evening. And I noticed that my sleep was not really restful when I used to do that. That my sleep actually was almost, I would say, tormented when I used to do that. Like I would have horrible dreams and like all types of stuff. I would wake up, I would do all types of things. And I realized perhaps it's what I'm ingesting close to bed. Perhaps it is what I am putting in my mind close to my bedtime, because when you're asleep, you're in your most vulnerable state, right? So there you are, in your sleep, you actually, I'm about to go real scientific, but we don't got time for that. But you're in your most vulnerable state, and your brain is literally kind of cycling through all the things that you've been worried about, the things that you've been thinking about. Your body is restoring itself, building up new muscle fibers, washing out dead cells. Like this is all that's happening in your sleep. And if your mind is taking time to cycle through thoughts and to actually put things together, like you do so much during the day, this is the only time that your mind is kind of like actually digesting what it saw, what it thought, what it felt throughout the day. And you're putting in murder and mayhem. So I had to realize that I can't watch those anymore. I don't know if that's going to be the same for you, but think about what you're watching before you go to bed. Think about even what you're eating. Child, as I turned 40 this year, and let me tell you, my body, I'm doing real good because I work out regularly, right? But y'all, if I eat the wrong thing, child, that heartburn, man, I'm like, where did this come from? Why is this here? So physically, what are you doing? What are you eating before bed? They do say that you should probably not eat anything within 3 hours of your bedtime, right? And so really be thinking about, what are you ingesting mentally and physically close to bed? And is that affecting what you do? For me, a long time ago, I watched true crime, but I refused to watch horror movies because I knew what that did to my psyche. So number one was to watch what you ingest mentally and physically close to bed. The second one is to get good sleep hygiene. That is key to making sure that you can have the sleep, that you can actually prepare with the start in mind, right? So, what does good hygiene mean? They talk about the environment of your sleep is really, really important, right? Having it dark, having it cool, going to bed at a time that will allow you to get all of the sleep that you need. Me, like I said, it is still a struggle, but I fight for it every night. I encourage you to do the same. So make sure that you're paying attention. Matter of fact, for me, I don't even have a TV in my room. Like that's how serious I am about making sure that I'm creating the environment that will allow me to sleep well. And then the final one is to end with thankfulness. Take some time to be thankful. Gratefulness literally changes your mind. It brings more joy, it brings peace and rest in your own heart. When you're able to look back at the day, man, thank you, Lord, for waking me up. Lord, thank you just for having a good conversation with my son. Thank you for giving me, I don't know, um a good conversation with my parents, whatever it is. Like, if it's something as simple as thank you for allowing me to get to the end of this day, write it down, because it may change just how you look at your day. Okay. Oh, I've been a chatty Cathy today. I'm almost at my 20-minute mark. So 3 things to do. 1, watch what you ingest, get some good sleep hygiene, and end with thankfulness. Now, for those who are wrestling with sleep, we're going to go over 20 minutes today. All right. But for those who are wrestling with sleep, I know that that is a struggle for a lot of people. Matter of fact, I had a struggle with that. And I had to get serious about my sleep, because I realized that it's not just a issue with sleep hygiene, but sometimes it's a spiritual issue, right? So for me, one of the key things that I do is, along with gratefulness and thankfulness, I actually recite different verses over my heart and over my mind. And one verse that truly has helped me to make sure that I'm having good sleep most of the time, because it's not always, right, is Psalm 4:8. And it is, I think it's David saying this psalm, and it says, I will both lie down and sleep in peace, for you alone make me live in safety. This one was key for me to be able to declare that, and remember that the Lord is the one that allows me to live in safety. So if there's a place where I feel anxious, if there's a place where I feel like I don't have what I need, I remember that it is the Lord that makes me live in safety, so I can sleep and lie down in peace. So I encourage you to take that verse and run with it. The Lord makes you live in safety. There's no need to be anxious anymore. There's no need to figure it all out anymore, because he allows us to live in safety so that we can lie down and sleep in peace. All right. So we're a little bit over today. So sorry, but sometimes I like to chat. Okay. We're going to break down this Dreamboost prayer, and then we're going to get our weekly review done, right? That's what we finna do. Okay, let's pray. Lord, show us how to end with the start in mind. Give us the wisdom and the knowledge to step up our nightly routines in the best way possible, so that we can wake up with the energy needed to hit the day with intentionality. Give us the rest on each side, or give us rest on each side, just like you said in your word. All right, y'all. Well, have an awesome week. And remember that God allows us to live in safety so that we can lie down and sleep in peace. Have an awesome day.